think a lot of people who have a similar curious mindset go on the same journey, really, where you start thinking, who else can I meet? What else can I read? Where else can I go to learn something that's going to help me be better? But whether it's like the best books or religions or the best mentors in the world, they all teach you to look within yourself. And once that clicks, then it's really obvious that turning a mirror on yourself, and the best thing I can do for my players is be better. Better communicator, better prepared, better night's sleep, healthier, and so on. And then you can be more present for them.
Hello, and my name is Craig White, and welcome to the Dare to Be Different podcast. I'm really excited today because I'm joined by who I think is a great man, a devoted husband, a devoted father, and the head coach of Wigan Rugby League team, the current world champions, Mr. Matty Peet. Matty, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's an honour to be here, particularly on your first one. Very excited for what you can bring and what you can build this into, and it's a privilege to be here.
Thanks, mate. So I'm sat with a very humble man. He's become a friend. We've also done some work together, and behind the humbleness is a wealth of inspiration, wisdom, and Matty, in my opinion, has got a lot to share with budding leaders and coaches and fathers out there as well. So Matty, let's jump straight in and give our viewers some real juice, something to go home with and get excited about. What do we need to know about your past that has shaped who you are today as a father, a husband, and a head coach?
Where to start? I just turned 40 just last week, as you know, and I've lived in Wigan all my life. Born into a pretty typical family around here, I would say. Catholic upbringing, a lot of strong men in my life in terms of my brother, my dad, 6 uncles in total, and straight away growing up in Wigan, you're thrown into rugby league and wrestling and fighting basically, and a lot of love and fun in my upbringing, but with that constant theme of rugby league running through it, whether it was watching rugby league, playing rugby league, all the conversations in the house were pretty much about rugby, and that's where I learnt a lot of my lessons growing up. Really loving family, supported me through a relatively successful junior playing life, I guess. A lot of my friends were through rugby and sport, and that was what I spent most of my time doing as a kid, like a lot of young lads around here. But alongside that, I always had a thirst for knowledge, a thirst for adventure, I would say. What I've learnt was curiosity, and so alongside trying to play rugby league to the best of my ability and having a lot of fun doing so, I was always looking outside of that, whether it was reading or aspiring to travel, and eventually I went to university and studied English, which opened my eyes massively. And around that time I jacked in with the rugby. I'd started coaching an amateur kids team, but as far as playing rugby league, I'd had enough. I didn't think I was going to become the level of player that I wanted to be, and I was loving my time at university and learning about things away from Wigan. It was only in Manchester. And
what did you study at university?
I studied English. So it's a very broad topic. Basically, it's reading books, it's watching plays, it's it's just learning a lot about different times in history, different political, social, cultural phases in different countries, and then the art that came out of it, and that opened my eyes massively. And just being in Manchester and you know what it's like when you go to university, you meet, you know, from meeting a lot of people who'd been very similar in terms of their beliefs on the world and what they enjoyed talking about. I felt like my eyes had been opened, and it was life changing, just stepping outside of the bubble a little bit. And when I say outside of the bubble, I mean in terms of getting out geographically, but also being exposed to all these pieces of art. And
so when you were younger, I'm guessing that you read a lot.
Yeah,
and you know that inspired you towards studying English. What were some of the authors that inspired you, and why did they inspire you, do you think?
Well, the first books I can remember really loving to read were like children's books, like Roald Dahl, and they're just your typical kids' books. But even that, it's like opening your eyes to a silly world, to a fun world,
a different way of perceiving life.
Yeah, exactly, and different characters and things you can compare to your own life and make jokes. And there's always been a sense of with me is like finding the fun in things, finding sense of humour in things, and I guess seeing fun where other people might not. So no, they would have been the first real, if you talk about an author. But even like Enid Blyton and things like this, is a real young kid. I would have found, I think I found reading quite easy compared to some children, so those stories were very accessible to me.
Right.
And quite early on in my life, my uncles, I remember my Uncle John, who played for Wigan, he had really interesting bookshelves. He travelled all over the world, so books on the shelves that he brought home from Russia and China and all over places, the Middle East where he travelled, and another two uncles who were into business and self-development, so books like Napoleon Hill, Richest Man in Babylon.
Wow.
I would have been reading while I was at primary school.
So you've always been a curious cat.
Yeah. I think I don't know why, but I think I like to be different. I like to try and find something what other people haven't, and then this is a weakness of mine as well. I've learned that I'd then try and force that on other people, and but I like trying to learn something new and share it with other people, and I've always found the fun in that.
Just want to intervene for a second, in case we've got any global viewers. So myself and Matty are from a place called Wigan in the northwest of England. It's a very working class town, northwest, old mining town, cotton mills, and rugby league. The sport of rugby league is really famous here, and often young men in this town that they end up playing rugby league or having some kind of association with it, and it's very big in the town, and it means a lot to the town. Matty, I want to dive in again a bit deeper here, because I didn't really know you, but I remember meeting you around the town centre, around the pubs and the bars when I was younger, and then I remember you coming to meet me and saying to me, I don't know, 20 years later, Craig, I'm about to get the head coach's job at Wigan Rugby League. Would you support me? And I saw a very different human being. You know, when I saw you when I was young, you were drinking, I was drinking, and then I saw you 20 odd years later, you weren't drinking, you were peaceful, you were curious, you were present, you had this real desire, you spoke about family, you spoke about being a father, and I saw a very different version of you. And I, having known you now for a couple of years, know that you went on a period of transformation. Can you talk to us about that period of significant transformation for you in your life, and what prompted you to want to transform?
You're right when you say a period, and I don't think it was one particular day I decided to change. I think it was a lot of things happened between them two times you came across me, two periods where you seen me, which just shaped me. And as you mentioned, when I was younger, I would love to socialise. I love to be in groups. I love to party really, and was quite daft really.
Yeah.
But I loved it, and I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed being part of a group, having a laugh, and having fun. But with that, particularly when there was alcohol involved, I was no doubt quite reckless, and I've got myself in some situations along the way. So my life and my career, not just rugby league, but like my education, I've always been quite driven and focused, and really keen to be the best I could be, whatever that was in. But there was a constant, what I've learned is, saboteur get in the way, and it would take me, might be 2 steps forward, 1 step back continuously, and that was things that happened associated with being on the drink.
Yeah.
But I never really made a conscious decision to stop. I just I started with a dry January, like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And after a couple of weeks, I remember just saying that I was going to leave it.
Did you feel better?
Yeah, straight away. That's why I carried on. Felt better at work. Felt better in my headspace, and it was like a penny just dropped that there was no need to start again. And
Okay.
that's happened to me a few times in life with other things as well. Like when I stopped playing rugby league, like it surprised a lot of people because I'd been such an avid player, played all my life, obsessed, and then whilst on holiday with my wife in Thailand, I just said, well, it was my girlfriend at the time, I just said, I'm not going to play anymore. And she was like, where does that come from? And I was just like, I've had enough now. And that was it, just ended. And it was the same with drinking. It was like one day I just, I'm not going to do that anymore. And thinking about the title, like it was at a point where I just thought, no, it's quite interesting to just step away from that part of my life and into the next part.
How old was you when you stopped drinking?
Well, I'd be 36 maybe.
36.
It's not that long ago.
Okay.
But yeah, you name it. I've done it in terms of the good of and the bad results of big drunken nights. I had some great times. Most of my friendships have been built initially on good nights out, good days out, good weekends away. But also I've had a lot of apologising to do over the years.
Yeah. Okay. You met your current wife, didn't you? And can you tell us about how she was influential over you and your behaviour and your pathway to becoming a father and a coach?
Yeah, well, when I say I was daft, she's probably the closest thing to keep me on the straight and narrow has been our relationship. She's not daft. She's very intelligent. She's very considered, very organised, and we're in many ways we're polar opposites. But it just worked, and right from the start, I had someone that I wanted to. I suppose I had a reason to be less reckless, and take less risks, and just be a bit more organised in my life. And just from talking things through with her, whether it was university and keeping me on track there, and then professional life, and she just talks sense, whereas quite often particularly 20 years ago, I could have been a bit erratic. So yeah, we've had a fantastic relationship. She shares a lot of my passions, including for travel and adventure, and we've had some fantastic times around the world together, and that's really where I see our best times. But now we've got 2 girls as well, Lily and Winnie, who are 9 and 6. I think having girls has been good for me as well. But back to Becky, yeah, it just gives you another sense of purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially for a lad, a bloke, you can meander through life, can't you? And other than sport and trying to win your games at the weekend or win your certain battles or conquests, whatever they may be. I think that just channel me a little bit and give me some accountability away from mum and dad.
Yeah, okay. And family. You're, in my observation, you're a coach who is really, really driven towards building a family. And one thing I admire about you is there's less of a separation between your coaching family and your own family. You know, sometimes in some of my clients I see a huge separation. They can't get that right, and I know it's tough, but you seem to navigate that quite well. When I say the word family, what comes up for you as a coach?
As a coach, well, even when you say as a coach, I can't really separate me as a coach and me as a person. I just think of family like all my best times in my life. If I think of anything from being age 4 upwards, it's always been, like I said, from a strong Catholic family where it was always everyone gets together and everyone shares the highs and the lows, whether it was weddings to funerals, you know, birthdays to someone being in trouble. It was always come together, we'll fix it, come together, we'll fix it. And that's just how I've always felt most comfortable. So I guess it stems from that. When I think back to my best memories of playing rugby league, they were going to the swimming baths after the game or having a laugh in the changing rooms. The game itself, I think I could have been playing anything, and it was about the togetherness. And I've just always tried to include not just the players in that, but their loved ones, not just the wife and kids, but their mums and dads, the brothers and sisters, and it's a community. And yeah, without being too strategic about it, I feel that's my natural style. I try and include everybody at the club.
Yeah.
And I've been the same when I've coached amateur teams. It's trying to pull everyone together, and now that includes it. You know, at Wigan, massive organisation like that. It's the supporters as well, the sponsors. I think it's just treating everyone the same and making everyone feel part of something. But yeah, to take it back to my family, I want my girls to experience that. What I loved were to have people around them to make everyone feel welcome and looked after. Yeah, I don't know if that's a healthy thing or not, but that's just the way I do it.
I mean, by the sounds of it, you've had a pretty sound family upbringing as a kid, and a wider family. You know, speak a lot about your uncles. I've heard you talk about that before and how they inspired you, and cousins and stuff. And you've felt how that served you. You've naturally kind of felt that when you played rugby, and you lead that way, don't you? You lead with an intention to build a family. So that comes quite natural to you. But what would you say to any leaders out there in the corporate space, any leaders of teams, any coaches who maybe don't have the natural skills that you have? Like, what are your official or unofficial pillars to building a family? Like, if you're going in a new club tomorrow and you want to build this family and it's disjointed, maybe they've had a shit season, stuff's gone wrong, what you're looking at? How do you build that family? What are your steps? Some of your steps?
Well, I think the main thing, like, you think about a strong family or supportive family, is you feel safe, don't you? In your own home, above anywhere else, you feel safe enough to be yourself. And
I hear you say that a lot to your players. Be yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah. I think it's to anyone, to any coach, to any player, and it takes a while. That, like, if I think of myself, I'm drifting here, but if I think of myself as a coach now, it's only now I'm in the so-called head job at the club that I feel I can truly be myself, and we're winning, so that helps. Because you're always trying to please someone or emulate somebody else, and that's part of your own development. But to try and really tap into who you are, and be authentic within that.
Let's go into that then, because we spoke about family, but let's go into that, because I have met many coaches like you that have such a curiosity and a quest to know yourself better, and the recognition from you that there's so many layers in you that you've not even peeled back yet, and there's so much potential in you, and 10 years from now you're not going to be the same father, husband, you're going to be different, you're going to be more whole, and I admire that about you, and that's why I love working with you. Can you speak about some of the quests you've been on, some of the things you've tried, some of the learnings you've experienced in order to understand yourself better? Like, what are some of the things that you've done so other leaders have, have an idea?
And I think a lot of people who have a similar curious mindset go on the same journey, really, where you start thinking, who else can I meet? What else can I read? Where else can I go to learn something that's going to help me be better? But whether it's like the best books or religions or the best mentors in the world, they all teach you to look within yourself. And once that clicks, then it's really obvious that turning a mirror on yourself, and the best thing I can do for my players is be better. Better communicator, better prepared, better night's sleep, healthier, and so on. And then you can be more present for them.
You said something quite significant then, and we hear it a lot. Turn the gaze inward. Obviously, we read books, external information, books, podcast, YouTube, which is coming from the outside in. But you mentioned the importance as a coach and a leader and a father, whatever, and a man, of turning the gaze inwards and looking at yourself and basically owning your shit. It sounds like you've actually had we can talk about that all day long, but what we need to deepen that journey is a felt experience of wow, now I get it, everything lies within me. What pursuits have you tried that have given you a felt sense of, I guess, inner knowledge, inner wisdom, spirituality, expansion, whatever you want to call it? Like, what kind of things have you tried?
Well, yoga would be a big one. Yoga and meditation.
Tell us about your relationship to yoga.
Yeah, well, I dropped on with yoga in that I was on holiday with my missus, wanted somewhere to go and do some exercise every day. I went to the hotel gym. The only class that was on at a decent time was a yoga class every morning. So I had 2 or 3 weeks, and by the end of it, I just loved it. And initially it was just because I felt a bit healthier, my back was strong. In the past I've suffered with a bad back. But as I've carried it on since I come home, I realised there was much more to it than that. There is the physical work, and then the breath work and the connection with the breath, which has a massive impact on your day-to-day life when you can make that connection and centre yourself and be present. But as most important, as I've learned, is that self-awareness and just space, stillness. Because that is really the polar opposite of how I was. If I think me erratic, destructive, just non-stop, bit of mayhem around me.
Do.
Yeah, all action, and then could be some carnage in there, could be lots of fun, just never still.
Yeah.
So for me to learn to slow down, and I remember I used to hear people talk about watching themselves think, and a constant thing my dad would say to me when I was growing up was, put your brain in gear before you act, or put your brain in gear before you speak. And I never really knew what they meant, because I was impulsive.
Of course.
I am impulsive naturally.
Yeah.
I'm a risk taker.
Yeah.
But yoga and meditation, and latterly walking in nature, and has just taught me how to quiet my mind a little bit, slow down my thinking. And
you said something significant, and I want to go on to it a little bit more, because there'll be leaders watching this who they can't switch off. They're on the merry-go-round. They associate success with process, drive, financial gain, more financial gain, bigger and better, attached to the phone, and they find it very hard to create space. So creating space is critical for me in order to continue to be a performer, a high performer, balance fatherhood with coaching, not get triggered, be present most of the time. And obviously it's not a perfect world, but for me, the creating space is the yin to the yang. But a lot of leaders haven't felt that, so they don't believe it. So in terms of yoga, like in order for you, because you do, how many times a week do you do yoga?
as many as I can. At least 4.
3 or 4, right?
Yeah, 4. Yeah, minimum 4.
So for me, the question is, in order to continue to evolve into your best self as a father, which I know that you're dying to do, and a coach and a husband, and you're constantly striving to be better, what does that hour in yoga 4 times a week like give to you? If I say to you, why bother, Matty? Why bother doing that? Like, what's your response?
It's really hard to explain, because it's almost like when you're craving something else. If you're craving a sleep or sugar or exercise, it just becomes like that. But I guess when you ask me what it is, sometimes you'll go into a yoga class and you could be really tired, or your mind could be racing, but by the end of it, you always feel better. And you always feel like things have settled. And you might have done a full yoga class, but you might have actually been thinking about something.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, you've probably thought enough a little bit, and you've just watched it disappear. And it's a little bit like, a lot of people, I reckon, the only space to give themselves is either in the shower or driving. And it's a bit of a similar thing. Like, your mind could be racing, and you'll think a little bit about something, and then you'll just drift away, and you're just present in the class. I don't have the textbook answer, Craig. I can only give you my feeling of it. But
how does it affect your capacity to think and make decisions?
Yeah, it's space, I guess. It is hard to articulate without feeling it, but that stillness, you know what it's like for a lot of people who are in certain kinds of jobs. Everyone wants a piece, everyone wants a conversation, but it certainly makes me definitely a better coach, definitely a better man at home, and I notice it more if I don't go.
Yeah, okay.
I'll fall back into, because I didn't get everything. Well, I don't get everything right now, but I know. I had a conversation with a coach today actually about some behaviour he fell into as a coach, what he wants to change, and a lot of it is because he's tired.
Yeah. Or
he's rushing from work to coaching and then home, and without that pause anywhere in your day, something has to give. You'll make a mistake somewhere.
For sure.
A loose word here, which in my job now with so many players and staff who are sensitive to my words, and I don't get it all right, I feel just taking an hour a day to be yourself and clear your mind a little bit can certainly help. And
It's absolutely critical, and I'm just glad that you've felt that. You've felt the benefits, and now it's in your life forever, because I work with a lot of men, and some guys just don't get it.
No, and I do think some men don't need it as much as what I did. Like, I have got lads who I work with who are very thoughtful, a bit more introvert, a bit more considered, can think a bit slower than what I can. I guess it would still have benefits for them, but I reckon there's other people who are non-stop.
Yeah.
Who it does benefit them.
And what other things are your go-tos to create that space, to regenerate, to regulate, to let go of thoughts, to gain clarity on thoughts? What other things have you tried?
As you mentioned, like spending time in nature, but on my own, just with the dog. It's not the same as going for a walk with the kids or going somewhere quite busy. I think walking somewhere where it's peaceful and quiet. And I know Sean Wayne, who I work very closely, who's the current England head coach. Yeah. And when you read books by other head coaches, it seems like a particular, and probably leaders in general, just to get out in the wide open. Yeah. Even better if it's pouring down, and just to get in touch with that. I think exercise in general, whether it's giving yourself a kick in on the watt bike or having a sauna, massage. I think anything where you just, you would know better than me, Craig, what the common theme is there. I think a balance between them things. You want to keep yourself fit and healthy, but I'd always been used to like your standard gyms where it's like music pumping, a lot of competition. So I think it's getting a balance of that, but also just doing some training that's, although it's physical training, it's really for your peace of mind and your mental health. I think up to 30, 35, any training I did was purely to try and get the physical benefits rather than the psychological ones.
So by the sounds of it, it sounds like you're managing, even though you've got a family, you've got 2 kids, you've got a head coach job, big responsibility, you're still managing to get what I would say around 6 hours of stillness in your life, right? 4 yoga classes, a couple of walks in nature.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. Like, there's not just my wife Becca. She's got a high pressure job as well. Our parents are on hand. They're very supportive. And there's probably times where I don't spend as much time as I would like. Well, there is, everyone spend more time with their own kids. And sometimes it's a battle where, you say you're going to yoga for an hour and you've not seen your kids much that day. So I've got to get that balance right, and I don't always. And it's not, sometimes I go home from a yoga class and it's World War III at home and I walk into and I feel bad because so it's a constant battle.
But you're in a better place to hold it, right?
Yeah.
You've created space.
Yeah.
So you can hold that chaos a bit better, right?
Absolutely. I don't know how, people who do this job or other roles in leadership and have big weekends on the drink or don't get out in nature or don't do the things, they're better than me, because Monday morning I know I need to be present, and my players want the best of me. And there's things you've taught me as well about having some healthy boundaries and creating time at work to fill your cup, as you call it, and that's something I'm trying to improve as well.
But it's critically important for someone like you, Matty, because you are the people person. You like people, you like spending time with people, you're with people all the time, you're with players, you're with staff, you're taking calls from all amateur coaches when I'm in the car with you. You're just a people connector. So to have those pockets of stillness for you is absolutely vital. Absolutely vital. And you came on one of my retreats, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell us about what you got from that. Because for people watching, some of the retreats that I run for men, leadership retreats, they involve looking this way, pointing the finger this way, asking questions of ourselves, meditating, breath work, postural work, movement practice, conversations, partner work, all in the name of peeling back the layers and revealing more of who we are and letting go of what doesn't serve us. So Matty, it was brave of you to come on the retreat, and what did you get from it?
I don't know. I split into two things really, Craig. I feel and this was always my goal from coming on the retreat. Really there was the work on myself, and it taught me, to take 3 or 4 days to just talk about yourself and your journey you've been on. And I was already a few stages in from our work, and I've had other mentors and coaches, so I'm used to that process. But to be so intense from 6 in the morning till 8 at night is really it takes you so far out of your comfort zone. You feel so vulnerable. It was a fantastic experience, and it gave myself a really good understanding of me, which seems obvious, but people in general don't take time to consider the journey they've been on, have a checkpoint, talk about what they want to achieve and why they are at the point they're at. And so that alone was unbelievably rewarding. And the other side to it, which I was after, was observing how you managed to bring that group together and get not just each individual within that to be open, but also to build that connection. And to observe how you did that over that time was remarkable. And like I said, I don't think people would realise how far, me particularly, how far my comfort zone I was, but I think every man who comes feels the same. And
you got comfortable with being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. And again, it's if I'm going to challenge my players on a daily basis to stretch themselves, then I've got to do something that
100%
that's going to make me feel what they're feeling.
Yeah.
I want them to be open and supportive of one another. So I felt it firsthand, and there's a lot of tools and techniques. Now having felt it myself, I'm more confident to work through to some extent with the players and to encourage them to to connect, to communicate with depth, and to share, and the power that brings, and the trust that brings, and the safety which is one of the things we start with.
Let's touch on that and take it into where you are now with your team at Wigan. And I've been down a few times, and I love what you're doing there. You're the world champions at the moment, and favourites to win it again, which I know that you're happy with that tag. And you seem to have done a great job at aligning multi-levels of the rugby organisation, from the fans to the community to the women to the academy to the team to the board of directors, to the sponsors, to the owner. There seems to be great synergy and alignment and connection there. Where'd you go to next with this team? What's your next stage of evolution?
Well, the first thing I need to say is it's not just because of me. I'm very fortunate, and I'm stating the obvious, but particularly the CEO, Chris Rodlinski, the new owner. Our academy's outstanding. Our fans we're crying out for connection as well. So I understand that I have a very important role, because I look after the first team, which is the flagship team. I think we just have to go deeper. every aspect of what we're talking about, we have to go deeper. I have to go deeper into myself. The players have to go deeper into their connection and their own personal journeys. We have to go deeper into the community. That's really significant. Like we have good connection with the community at the moment, but myself and the board and the club are going to are going to tackle some big issues and make a genuine difference to people's lives in our town. And winning is fantastic because it gets buy-in from everyone.
Yeah.
Like we can say we're the world champions and we play good rugby, so people want to come and watch. So people are on the journey with us, and then we can make good change, proper difference to people's lives, because there's things in this town that need to be better. There's too many children living in poverty, there's too many homeless, there's too much male suicide in general.
For sure.
So we need to pick some of those things and start to make a difference. But it will all start with each of us, as we mentioned, fixing ourselves. And
mate, I love where this conversation's going, by the way. I could have asked that question, how would you take the team next? Because I'm talking about performance. To 7 different rugby coaches, and most of the time they would have given me answers outside of themselves. Different coach, different stadium, better gym, new balls, better kit. We need a technical advisor. We need a nutritionist. But I love your answer. We, including you, I, have to go deeper. So look, you're talking about connection, aren't you?
yeah,
You're talking about connecting, and we connect through courage and playing with our vulnerable edges and emotions and creating an environment where it's okay to bring it all. And I love where you're going with that. Talk to me a bit more about connection. Let's talk about your team at the moment, your playing squad. Talk about what kind of things you might have done to deepen connection and how important that is to performance.
I will do. We do want the best recovery facilities. We do want sports science and data, and in some aspects more staff and more CPD. But that is 5-10% maybe. Whereas if the top of the pyramid is those things, then the foundations is the strength between the connections and the way we do it. There's the real subtle small interactions and the quality of them, the touch between people, the way people are taught to engage with one another on a daily basis, to share their opinion, whether you're 17 or 37. I think that is lots of small conversations. You know, you've seen it firsthand over breakfast. I love walking into a team meeting and having to wait for everyone to be quiet. I used to like walking in and everyone was sat there like a classroom, looking at me. But I've learnt that's not what you want. You want to almost be walking in and taking the piss out of me because they're all enjoying a laugh, and I love that feeling where people can play and be themselves. But also, like, we've got a very intelligent, very motivated group who demand the best of one another, demand the best of me. So that's the players and the staff. I feel our players and staff are united because our staff share some of their vulnerabilities. They share their improvement areas. You know, our players have action plans and learning plans, but our staff will stand up and share where they want to improve and ask for help. Just at the moment, Bubble, who's one of our mates, is doing a maybe his PhD maybe on certain recovery strategies, and all the players are helping him do it.
Right.
And I love that he's trying to better himself, but the players are all buying in because they love him and they want him to be better. So
yeah,
I feel that's a strength of ours. I feel like the players, it's not the staff and the team. It's we all want to be better, and
it's we, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the same with our other departments in the club. Hopefully, whether it's the team trying to sell merchandise or sell sponsorship, whether it's the CEO he wants certain things from the players, but in return he wants to take them around the world to train and to play. So we're in a decent place, but there's so much potential. We're all relatively young. There's a lot of us signed on a decent length of contracts, so the challenge is to keep challenging ourselves, really,
right,
and trying to put the results of the games and to the back of our minds, and then keeping it fun.
Yeah,
that's one of the major challenges for us all.
Yeah,
like if it's not fun, really, you might as well go and get a regular job.
Yeah, of course.
Because we ask so much sacrifice from our players, don't we?
Yeah, for sure. So connection. It's a passion of mine to talk about team connection. The reason it's a passion of mine is because some of the work I do with men outside of professional rugby is all about connection. And what I felt and the never-ending depth of levels that I've experienced with other men in groups is infinite. There's a bond, there's a trust that is so deep that I often think after the retreats that I do with men, if this was only a rugby team and we had a match right now, we would be unstoppable. I guess I want to ask a couple more questions on connection. The first one is, have you ever been in a team where, for whatever reason, there's been a disconnect, and how has that affected the environment and the performance?
Yeah, I've been involved in plenty of teams like that. And the performances can still be good, but I don't think you get a level of consistency. I think they can be a bit like a roller coaster. And I think when it's really under pressure, it can give in a little bit. I mean, that can happen to any team, but I think it's more likely to break. And I think a lot of it comes down to a lack of clarity, particularly from the leadership. And if you want to get that connection, if you want to get connection between a group, you've got to give it space, time, and permission. You can't just expect it to be there by going paintballing every now and then. You've got to give players time to share, and you've got to be willing as a leader too.
We're talking a bit about team connection, and that word team. Maybe people looking in are thinking about team development. But I know that you work a lot with individuals, and you spoke about individual conversations. When I used to be working with pro rugby teams full time, I was sick of hearing the term, there's no I in team. Team first, all that nonsense. Team first. There's no I in team. But I used to think that was nonsense. There is an I in team. And when I look at your environment, I see a group of individuals sharing the same common values, same drivers, same goal, but expressing themselves in a very individually unique way, which I love, which is I'm all about. So I just want you to talk to that. There's no I in team,
Yeah, I know what you mean. What I like to think and I hope for our team is if we all understand each other better. If I understand you, Craig, why you want us to win at the weekend, whether it's for money, whether it's for fame, your family back home. You've loved Wigan Rugby League since you was 3 years old.
Mm.
Although my reason might be different, I respect yours, you respect mine, and we're both ripping.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as long as that respect for one another, then that connection and energy, you are putting the team first, but it actually can strengthen the bond of the team to understand the individuality of your teammate. And of course there's unselfish acts, but really the team serves each individual, and the individual serves the team. It's a bit of a cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
So in that, I think getting the players to share a little bit about a lot about the backgrounds, about the life stories, their own motivations, what's brought them to be in this same team together at this point in their lives, I think is really powerful. And just last week we did an exercise where the players brought in pictures of them as a child with a rugby ball, and they had a conversation. What would they say to that young player?
Uh-huh.
What would that young player now say if they could see them as adults? And that was an exercise I took from the retreat.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt that work on themselves gives them motivation and frees them up to perform at the weekend. But most importantly, I think listening to everyone else share, being open and vulnerable, building trust, can certainly help you on the field. And we've done a lot of similar exercises as that, sharing the hardest times of your life, what's your fears, what's your embarrassments. And we continue to work on that.
Great. So what you mentioned, the practice where, I love that, by the way, the practice where the guys had to bring a photograph of them younger with a rugby kit or a rugby ball and have a conversation with. What a beautiful practice that is. A deep practice of self-awareness, really. You put a photograph of your young self in front and stuff comes up, and there might be pain, there might be pleasure, but often there's support and gratitude, and what a beautiful way to deepen self-respect and self-awareness. I'm so glad you did something like that. What about your younger self? What advice would you give to your younger self?
I think to be yourself. To be yourself is always a good piece of advice, and I do sometimes think with these questions, like, it's very hard to tell someone that you've got to learn it and feel it, and the mistakes I've made and the successes I've had, I probably wouldn't change them, because I'm kind of happy where I'm at the moment, and even the hard times, generally something beautiful comes out of it, and that's the way it's certainly been. So I think to keep learning, be a bit kinder to other people would probably be one thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that can ever be a bad thing, that. I think looking after other people a bit more would be one.
Yeah. So Matty, I'm all about self-awareness and self-leadership, and for you, peeling back the onion, for you, revealing more of who you are, for you, recognizing newness about you and new potential and insights, and growing as a man and a coach and a father and a husband. What's next for you? Where's your next frontier of learning about yourself?
There's certainly a lot as a coach and a leader, understanding different kinds of players, I guess, and being able to help more players. Sometimes a player will say something to me and I don't have the tools to help them, and I have to sort of pass them on, which sometimes may always be the case, but I'd love to have a bit more understanding around some of the issues they might have had, whether that's in their upbringing or different learning types of behaviour,
character types, behaviour.
Yeah, just understanding people better.
Even childhood trauma to a degree.
Exactly, yeah. almost like counselling, a bit of understanding around that.
Yeah.
And then things at home, just continuing to
Yeah.
get the balance right at home and be a bit more informed of how to deal with. Obviously, I've not had a lot to do with two. I've now got 2 young daughters, and just trying to be the best I can be there and support them and give them room to themselves as well.
Great. 3 quick fire questions to finish. Best days of your life?
The best days of my life are either boat trips on holiday with my family, barbecues at home with my family, or coaching in big games, in packed stadiums, and then celebrating after.
Worst day of your life?
I mean, it's part of life, isn't it? Probably a few for you knows what I've been.
Yeah.
People who mean the world to me, or friends of friends. Seeing other people upset, I don't think it. I don't think it gets much harder than that.
Yeah. Final question. What do you want written on your gravestone when you die?
Be yourself.
Love that. Which is a snapshot of your philosophy. Matty, we can't talk forever. It's been epic having you on my first podcast. Hope to get you on again soon. Wish you all the best with Wigan. You're doing a great job as a dad. You're doing a great job as a husband. You're doing a great job as a head coach, and long may it continue. So, Matty, do you have any final words for our audience this afternoon?
No, I've enjoyed the conversation. I still feel like I'm early into my journey, both professionally and at home, and just keep going with the head down, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. And my question to you is, as a leader, as you walk into your potential, do you dare to be different?